going to be talking about Fit Biomics, obviously. The world of the microbiome is very hot. And as an internist, I often have to, on a daily basis, tell my patients, no, you should not be taking this antibiotic for a viral infection because it's going to affect your gut flora, your microbiome. And they just look at me and they're like, I just want to feel better, Dr. Fidel. Oh, look at them. But at the same time, we know we're now beginning, I think, to understand how important it is. Obviously, when Corinne contacted me, right, with all that you do, I immediately became fascinated because you work with the elite athletes, right, and their microbiome. So I just wanted to learn from you where that idea came from, how you ended up developing this company, and where you see it helping. I'm not an elite athlete, right? And I don't think any of my patients are either, right? But where do you see this going in terms of improving the health of most human beings on this planet?
Amazing. Carolina, I don't know. Do you want to get the ball rolling or?
Foremost, I think an elite athlete to benefit from what we're building. And I think John's story is so powerful at really providing some of the background of the personal and the experiential aspects of how FitBiomics came to be. But even if you think about our value system at FitBiomics and what we're all about, it's not about developing solutions for these elite athletes. It's about using them as a proxy to understand what allows them, what is in their physiology that allows them to perform at the levels they do. And so rather than looking at disease and trying to fix it, we're taking a paradigm shift and looking at the most fit and healthy people in the world, understanding what is unique and enriched in their gut microbiome. So this way we can develop these next-gen solutions that really help with longevity and being on a holistic level. And I think you even mentioning antibiotics to kick it off is such a personal, we can dive into this later, but it's true. The increase in antibiotic use in this country and how I think there's a generational aspect of it as well. But we're so quick to recommend antibiotics or want to take antibiotics, not realizing some of the side effects that come with it. And there's a place for them for sure, and there's a need for them. But I think overuse can result in some unfortunate negative consequences.
Yeah. I was just going to add, it's not limited to antibiotic use, right? I think just Western diets, high salt, high fat, high sugar, you combine that with antibiotics usage, you combine that with sedentary lifestyles, right? Again, if you look at the chronic disease epidemic in our society, 60% of all U.S. adults have at least one chronic disease. There's a problem when the CDC is saying the major drivers of this are poor diets and lack of exercise. And I just wanted to also, we're talking about biohacking. What could be, more biohacking-esque than decoding and translating the biology of these elite performers and now turning those into health solutions that everyone can benefit from, right? And that's all mediated through their gut microbiome and these beneficial bacteria.
Hey everyone, big shout out to Ariel Vivleka, founder of Finally All Natural. Ariel is on a mission to educate people about hidden ingredients in skincare products. Did you know the FDA allows incidental ingredients that aren't labeled or disclosed? That's why Finally All Natural is special. They focus on how ingredients are created, excluding extracts and essential oils, and have world-first formulas that work for a variety of skin types. They've also partnered with CleanHub for eco-friendly packaging and offer an exclusive organic face oil that has been scientifically proven to boost the proteins in your skin, enhancing hydration and strengthening the skin barrier. All 100% vegan. If you're into holistic skincare or non-toxic living, Ariel is your go-to expert. Keep up the amazing work, Ariel. Get in touch with her today. All the links are in description below.
And I've always been curious, honestly, when happening and these biohacking companies started popping up, my number one question is, where does all this data go? What do they do with this information? Does it sit in a library? And what do you do with it?
Yeah, the answer is simple for us. We democratize it into accessible health solutions that everyone can benefit from. I love this notion, right? Biohacking, we're not really a biohacking company. We're a biotech company, right? We're just radically different because instead of spending over a decade and billions of dollars to develop a drug to treat disease, we're accelerating these health solutions to market in a fraction of the time with orders of magnitude less capital so that way we could help prevent disease, right? Carolina and I talk about this all the time. Just because of the state of societal health, I think biohacking is becoming more mainstream because consumers are looking for alternatives to traditional drugs and sick care systems, right? I think that's really what FitBiomics is doing. We're creating a new paradigm for how we understand and optimize our bodies through the power of the gut microbiome.
I think what's so interesting is even when you think about biohacking and you think about a lot of these groups that are maybe taking more of a personalized medicine approach where they can do a DNA swab or a gut microbiome sample and get some information. There is value in that information, but there also is a reality in the technology that it takes to be able to develop something that's truly personalized. And our approach is not to say we're going to look at your microbiome and find out what you need. It's to say we know that these specific areas or challenges that people are experiencing that they need support with, we're going to find people who embody the opposite, right? That if you're experiencing a lot of issues with your sleep or your fatigue, or people who have just abundance of energy or endurance or whatever it is. And how do we really tap into that? So this way we can find out what is that specific microbe that's correlated to supporting that mechanism of action and to supporting that benefit so everyone can then benefit from it. And so it's really, I think, what's so special about what we're doing, I think, is this therapeutic pharma approach in terms of the rigor of the science and the research and the clinical studies that we do to really assess the product and the innovations that we're bringing to market, but then democratizing it in a way that makes it accessible to everyone so everyone can benefit. And you're not looking at biohacking trends that maybe are a little more expensive or inaccessible for the average person. And people may not have the money or the time to go sit and do an IV drip or to have the long-term membership where they can go and do cold plunges or whatever it is. A lot of these biohacking techniques, there are certainly some more accessible, but a lot of them are challenging to fit into a busy lifestyle, or if the funds are not necessarily there.
I want to take a moment to give a huge shout out to Melissa Murphy-Pavone and her amazing team at Mindful Financial Partners. Melissa has over 18 years of experience as a certified financial planner and divorce financial analyst. And what truly sets her apart is how she values people over portfolios. Whether you're going through major life changes or just want to take control of your financial future, Melissa's approach is all about aligning your wealth with the life you truly want to live. She doesn't just focus on growing wealth, but also on creating balance and purpose in your financial journey. You can get in touch with her at her website, mindfulfinancialpartners.com, and you can find all the links in the description. Be sure to check it out.
What led you both into this particular area? Do you have personal reasons why you started this company, why you believe in it?
I mean, I think this is all you. We could both speak to it, but I always just want to hear your story.
I think John's story is so powerful because of how it really started, and he brought me in to really help take a lot of the R&D and translate it. But personally, as a woman, as someone who is in their mid-40s and has really struggled my entire life with addressing health issues, whether it's being gaslit that it's all in your head, you're just stressed, whatever it is, I think that is a challenge that really took me to want to take charge of my own health and well-being. And when you think about biohacking, we talk about women being the ultimate biohackers, and it's almost because we've had to take charge of our health and well-being because it's really difficult in the mainstream industry to get the care you need. On average, it takes women significantly longer to get diagnosed with a disease presenting the same symptoms as a man. And therefore, she's dealing with things like chronic pain or cardiovascular issues or other health conditions for much longer before she's diagnosed and treated. And that leads to negative health outcomes. And my personal journey is just one where I've had IBS, CT my entire life, struggle to find solutions, and beyond just the gut issues of being uncomfortable, there's the mental toll it takes on you. And whether it's being uncomfortable in social or professional setting, not being able to know if you're going to fit into clothes that day because you don't know if you're going to look normal or look 6 months pregnant for the day. And that challenge obviously plays a big role. So there's the gut health aspect of it. In addition, I've had endometriosis. I have other areas that I've lived with chronic pain, and I've lived with some of these challenges where I've had to really be an advocate for myself and find other solutions to address some of my pain points and my challenges. And so as I think about even my own journey through my healthcare desire to really be healthier and more comfortable in my own body and to feel like I'm thriving, not just surviving the day, for me, our products have actually been a game changer. So I take Nella every day. I also incorporated Vianella the last couple of months, and it was by far the best thing that's ever happened to me from a gut health perspective. And then as I think about even just when I incorporated Vianella, I'm not an athlete. I walk on average 3 to 7 miles a day, which is very good. So I do walk. I'm active. I'm a New Yorker, but I'm not an athlete. And I even notice the difference in little things of just you are active in your everyday life. And so that's something that for me has been a passion of how do we then use science, use technology, use our connections with Harvard and these really amazing scientists to be able to develop solutions that can help everyone. So this way people aren't having to suffer and without a clue of how to tackle their health.
Hey everyone, big shout out to Ariel Vivleka, founder of Finally All Natural. Ariel is on a mission to educate people about hidden ingredients in skincare products. Did you know the FDA allows incidental ingredients that aren't labeled or disclosed? That's why Finally All Natural is special. They focus on how ingredients are created, excluding extracts and essential oils, and have world-first formulas that work for a variety of skin types. They've also partnered with CleanHub for eco-friendly packaging and offer an exclusive organic face oil that has been scientifically proven to boost the proteins in your skin, enhancing hydration and strengthening the skin barrier. All 100% vegan. If you're into holistic skincare or non-toxic living, Ariel is your go-to expert. Keep up the amazing work, Ariel.
And taking these products personally, you mentioned that it has helped you. What have you noticed besides hopefully an improvement in your gut health? What else have you noticed?
I've definitely noticed an increase in my ability to sleep through the night undisturbed. So obviously gut health can impact your sleep. Sometimes just being able to have better quality sleep and wake up feeling refreshed, not feeling as stressed or anxious throughout the day when I have a lot going on. And then just being able to obviously manage my bowel movements. And we know we can get into the whole women's health, hormonal fluctuation, connection with the GI and all of those issues. But being able to be more consistent and more regular also helps me regulate my appetite, my moods, all of that. It all gets connected. And we know there's a very bidirectional effect between your gut and your brain, your gut and your muscles, everything, right? And for me with Nella, we've been able to understand how Nella works. One of the biggest things we found was things like helping with reducing reactive oxygen species in the gut, helping with improving free testosterone to cortisol ratios, helping reduce inflammation, and helping improve gut dysbiosis. All of these factors really play a role. And for me, I found my sleep has definitely gotten better. My digestive system is much more regular. And that has obviously had effect across various aspects of my life.
And Jonathan, what is the story behind FitBiomics for you? What drew you to start this company, to start this venture?
I actually think hearing Carolina's story is so inspiring and reinforces why we built the company. And I think it's a combination of, wanting to help people take their personal health into their own hands, right? And having more of an opportunity to have access to just knowledge about their bodies and ways to utilize cutting edge innovations as interventions. And for me, my background more is like in biotechnology, right? I'm a molecular biologist. I got a PhD in biomedicine. I think I've always just been super excited about like genomic and molecular codes and how that sort of leads to longevity, health, right? How it programs every facet of our daily lives. I guess it's the 25-year anniversary of the Matrix, right? Think about hacking, right? And like Neo, how do we hack the Matrix? Actually, FitBiomics in many ways is doing that from a biological perspective, right? We're understanding like these biological codes in the 0.01% of the human population. What's driving their optimal physiology? And then finding a way to rapidly translate that in literally a capsule, right? All this microbiome technology in a capsule that now could make optimal performance, right, available to everyone, right? So for me, just inspired by genotypes to phenotypes, translational medicine, but then really creating broad impacts on society, creating something transformative in terms of generational health. And that's really our goal. And obviously it stems into athletes. I was a former athlete, right? It takes be like Mike to a new level, right? Rather than just drinking sugar beverages or wearing sneakers, what if we could harness the biological data? Now, I'm not saying I'm a Jordan fan. I lend towards LeBron, but in any event, the principle holds true, right? Learning from them to now make the world a healthier place.
And with your research, what have you found in terms of, are there particular bacteria that you've seen in these athletes that you can mention on the podcast?
Yeah, I'll actually take this one because Carolina is a Nella person. She loves Nella. We just had a manuscript accepted that shows clinical efficacy and sleep health through optimizing our immune system. But actually, I'm more of a Vianella guy. And I'll tell you about that. When we were at Harvard, we published a paper in Nature Medicine where we looked at the microbiome of these elite endurance athletes, people that run 100 miles at a time, right? These superhumans, if you will. And what we discovered is in their gut microbiome, they have this probiotic called Vianella. And Vianella is unique because what it does is it naturally eats lactic acid, a metabolite associated with fatigue, and then it converts that into short-chain fatty acids, which in turn fight fatigue and promote endurance. Think about that for a second, right? This naturally occurring probiotic that could basically help people run 100 miles at a time. Now, for someone like Carolina, she walks 3 to 7 miles at a time. So imagine for her, Vianella, hey, let's walk more, let's run more, right? Let's be more active. And what we've been able to do since that discovery in Harvard, we've rapidly translated it into a clinically validated consumer health product. Now, what we're seeing is it's amazing in its ability to help people exercise more, combat chronic fatigue. There's a lot of women that are going through perimenopause and menopause where it's helping them address fatigue. And it's just, last thing I want to say to geek out, it's doing this in an entirely novel physiological manner. It's eating lactic acid in our gut, and it's creating short-chain fatty acids that then power the mitochondria in our muscles, right? Think about that. Think about the ultimate ramifications for longevity in preventative medicine. And this is how we're biohacking through these elite microbiomes. So it's just a really exciting time to bring an innovation like this to the world and make it accessible to everyone.
Thank you so much for joining me.